the son of UFC legend Quinton "Rampage" Jackson, a young man who grew up in the shadow of one of the most violent, charismatic, and controversial fighters in MMA history. But this week, Raja Jackson didn't make headlines for following in his father's footsteps inside the cage. He made them for something far darker. The 25-year-old was arrested in Los Angeles on a felony charge after a brutal assault that shocked both the wrestling world and MMA fans alike. The incident unfolded during a small independent wrestling show at the KnockX Pro Wrestling Academy in Sun Valley. The event was being live-streamed, cameras were rolling, and that's when chaos erupted. According to witnesses and the video footage, Raja Jackson stormed into the ring in street clothes, not as part of the show, not scripted entertainment, but with real intent to hurt. He lifted wrestler Stuart, Syko Stu, slammed him hard onto the mat, and then, while Smith was unconscious, delivered a flurry of punches to his face. The assault was merciless, and it played out live in front of stunned fans. The aftermath was gruesome. Syko Stu was rushed to the hospital, where doctors treated him for a fractured maxilla, severe trauma to both jaws, a torn lip, and multiple missing teeth. For days, he lay in intensive care, fighting through injuries that could change the rest of his life. And Raja Jackson? He was arrested and booked on a felony assault charge. Bail was set at $50,000. This isn't just another headline about violence. It's controversial because it blurs the line between sport and crime, between a performance and a felony. Wrestling has always walked a tightrope, scripted violence that entertains millions. But this wasn't scripted. This wasn't part of the show. This was an all-too-real beating that left a man broken in a hospital bed. And then there's the shadow of his father, Rampage Jackson, a fighter known for his knockout power, his body slams, his wild personality, and yes, his controversies. Rampage himself has had run-ins with the law. He's been arrested, he's been criticized, and now his son has walked a similar path, but even darker. What makes this story even more explosive is Rampage's own reaction. The MMA legend didn't defend his son. He didn't spin the story. Instead, Rampage condemned it. He said Raja needs therapy. He said his son deserves community service, even jail time. Imagine that. A father, a fighter, one of the most notorious brawlers in MMA history, openly admitting his own blood might need to be behind bars. That's what makes this arrest more than just a criminal charge. It's a public reckoning, a question of legacy. A young man raised in the fight world, surrounded by violence, fame, pressure, and now he's the one in handcuffs. But here's where the controversy deepens. Should Raja Jackson's actions be blamed entirely on him? Or is this a reflection of the fight culture itself? The line between show and reality in combat sports has always been razor thin. Fighters are taught from a young age that violence is power, that aggression is currency. In MMA and wrestling, larger-than-life personas thrive on chaos. But when the lights go off, what happens when someone can't separate the character from reality? Fans who watched the live stream say the moment was surreal. Some thought it was a storyline. Others realized quickly it was real. And in that confusion lies the bigger problem. Combat sports glorify violence, but they don't always prepare their young stars for the consequences of unleashing it outside of the rules. Syko Stu's injuries are real. His life has changed, and Raja Jackson is now facing the harsh truth that the world outside the cage and ring doesn't operate on scripted finishes. It operates on laws, on consequences, on accountability. Critics are calling for harsh punishment. Some fans, however, defend him, pointing to the pressures of being Rampage Jackson, living in his father's shadow and growing up around fame and chaos. But excuses don't heal broken jaws. They don't replace lost teeth. They don't undo a violent outburst broadcast to the world. This arrest has already created ripples in the fight community. Wrestlers, MMA fighters, and fans are debating it across social media. Some call Raja a disgrace to the fight game. Others say he's just another product of an unforgiving industry that chews up young men and spits them out. What's undeniable is this. Raja Jackson isn't just fighting for his freedom in court. He's fighting for his name, his future, and his identity. Because right now, he's not known as Rampage Jackson chasing his own legacy. He's known as the man who stormed a ring, assaulted another performer, and ended up in jail. The truth is simple, yet controversial. Raja Jackson may never step into an octagon, may never headline a wrestling show, may never live up to his father's legacy, because his story is already written in police reports and hospital records. And unless something changes, unless accountability turns into transformation, Raja Jackson's name may forever be tied not to glory, but to shame.